What have you been playing lately?
So I started up a Terraria server with my friends. We're playing
A
on
server?
expert mode.
Wait.
Yeah.
You told me
what?
you were playing it, but you didn't say a server. That's that's nerd shit.
What do you mean? Wait, how is that weird shit? What are you talking about?
Nerd shit, to be clear. Nerd shit.
Nerd shit. I thought you were saying weird, like it was like being weirdo. No, completely 100% nerd shit. And I own up to that. But it's fun. I've got three guys with me who are pretty consistently playing, and then one of my other friends who hops on sometimes. And
Your
so
friend hops on it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
bounces on it crazy style.
So don't goad me into doing the Nosferatu voice. Honestly, instead of us struggling for 10 minutes to think of something to open the podcast with, we should just clip in all of the voice notes we've been sending
to my
to each other.
podcast, where we talk about Terraria servers and bouncing on it crazy style.
You are doing a demonstrably not the Nosferatu voice.
I haven't heard the Nosferatu voice!
Yes, you have, because I've been doing it for 2 weeks in your DMs.
I'm doing my most reasonable facsimile of the voice that you've been doing. The closest I can get to it, alright?
You sounded like, I can't place it, but you sound like a character. When you were, like a specific cartoon character. I can't place who, but...
I can't, I'm not going to think of it either. Kind of like the vampires in, that one vampire show, not animated. It's
the
in
dark,
the shadows,
shadows.
where we
What
lie.
we do in the shadows.
What we do in the shadows. There we go. Yep.
Yeah. We got there. Yeah.
You got there. I was still fumbling around in the dark, right at the shadows.
You knew. Anyway, tell me more about your Terraria server. Terraria.
I don't know.
Terraria.
I switch back and forth, kind of depending upon who I'm playing with, I guess, and who I'm talking to. But I like saying Terraria because it's close to terrarium. So that's always sort of how I guess I've read it. But I don't know. I get on a kick every 2 years where I'm like, man, I gotta get people on this game, and then I will just talk about it a bit and sort of weave it into people's subconscious,
Yeah.
you know. And then we start playing it. Luckily, I'm playing with people who have all played before. So we're playing expert mode now, which is significantly harder, and definitely making slower progress. But I don't know, it's a lot more fun that way. Really enjoying it. I've also been doing Slay the Spire, which is a roguelike deck building game, but it's
People talk about that game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little, I don't know, it's a little different than some of the other ones. It feels like the prototypical roguelike deck builder, and I don't know. I've been trying a new strategy, which is kind of it's helping a little bit, but it's basically if I get the one card that I need, then I can pretty much go infinite, and I just can guaranteed win turn one or something. And then if I don't find that card, then I'm just left with a pretty shitty deck in the final act, and I'm like, all right, well, I lose, fair. So,
what is the appeal of playing a game? Like a card game, but digitally. I don't understand that. I know
because
people
it's
go
not
crazy
real
for
cards.
Balatro too.
So, so Balatro's a little different. Balatro is more
about to get mansplained at.
Well, I will mansplain it.
Huh?
With it's just seeing the different card interactions, and it has the really satisfying noise and sounds. It's literally pulling the slot machine thing at a casino. The arm.
I see.
And then you're like, oh my god, I hit the big combo. But since you're playing certain hands, and those have different point totals and stuff, and can work with your cards differently, so there's a lot of strategy behind it, but it is also fairly gambling based, right? And since you can modify your deck, that's where a lot of the strategy comes in. It's do I want to be playing a lot of face cards? Do I want to play a lot of yada yada? Do I want to go for straights? Do I want to play high card?
Go for straights.
Yeah, fuck that, right? I'm going 2-pair every game, baby. We're getting the pants Joker. We're going 2-pair every single hand. That's it. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun because it is half strategy and then half is just my lizard brain sees like numbers and colors and like hears good sounds, and I'm like, yes, more of this, more.
This is why you like movies that are like, bleh.
Like, yeah, it is.
That's the genre of game and movie.
Yeah, but I have my other side too. I have my like Civ 6, like, I like to sort of like be overlooking everything, and those are like the sort of like slower, more I guess calculated movies, right? This movie was a nice middle ground. This was a good Slay the Spire for
This movie?
Yeah,
Michael
there's some good action, and there's also some good like, all right, well, like what's going on here type thing, right? To a certain degree.
Good segue, I guess. Wow, that is the tightest segue, like, intro we've done in months, I think.
Because every time we get to 10 minutes, you're like, a 10-minute intro for this podcast? Who do we think we are?
Literally last week was 30 minutes before we got to talking about Sean Dealman. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
This is We Want to Watch. My name's Lane. That's Ricky. This is a podcast where we talk about movies that we want to watch. This week was a Lane's Frame. I have like an entire thesis to start with.
You want to share with the class? Yeah.
No, yeah. This was Michael Clayton from 2007, directed by Tony Gilroy. I was so excited. I've been texting Ricky all week, basically being like, I am so excited and feel so guilty about watching this movie. Because pumped, yeah. I am very pumped. I was pumped. I'm still pumped. I'm pumped to talk about it. This is a favorite of mine. I've seen this movie, I don't even know how many times, at least like 5 probably times. I kind of don't have words. This is just, it's so in the zone of a genre of movie that I want to... No, that's a good movie, but no, yeah. This is so in like a specific, I don't want to say lane because that's good, but like it is in a very, like, right, we've talked about like a Lane's Frame and a Rick's Pick and like how those are types of movies. Mm-hmm. There's like a specific type of movie of mine that I wouldn't call a Lane's Frame, but like a movie that I, like my guilty pleasure movies. Like, I want to get into it at some point, but like this movie is maybe the best version of it. And so, it's also a type of movie that I sometimes, number one, I feel guilty rewatching movies anytime. I'm like, I should be expanding my palette. I should be watching more complicated stuff. But then, it was just, it was so indulgent to watch this last night. And like, I was like, I'm going full hog. Like, I was like, I'm going to drink. I drank a little bit of wine.
Listen,
and when
I'm
I say
going
little,
full hog out in that parking lot while the snow's falling. Yeah. All right, I don't give a fuck.
I am stripping down during the taped deposition. I am buying 84 baguettes.
I'm carrying them around in a paper bag. They're still warm. Yeah. Do you want one? Like,
yeah. I had some wine. I had like spinach and artichoke dip with some Triscuits. I was like, I was cozied up on the couch. We don't talk enough about like the environment that we watch movies in. Yeah. I usually try to be like upright and like locked in when I'm watching a movie. I try, but like this one, I was like, I'm cozying up. I'm getting in the I was really in the pocket. Yeah, so it felt very indulgent to watch this week.
Yeah, I do kind of the same thing. Like, if it's a more serious movie, I try to be, like, really locked in. But, like, if it's a more lighthearted or fun or action-oriented movie, I'm laying on the couch. Like, I'm hanging out, I'm having a good time. Maybe I got some nachos or something. I don't know, right? Like, I'm taking it easy. Sure.
Yeah. I also don't watch movies very late. I'm a pretty... I'm a sleepy little guy, so I do try to go to bed early. But last night I started this movie at like 10 o'clock, and it took me. This is a 2-hour movie, and it probably took me 3 hours to watch it because I kept rewinding all of the scenes that I really like and watching them again.
Oh, so no, this movie was super indulgent then.
Yeah, I love this movie. This is probably in a top 50 for me. I know that sounds ludicrous, like the number of those movies, but like this This could even maybe be top 30. I mean, I
Whoa,
love this movie.
top 30
Yeah,
lane. Whoa, pump the brakes,
I'm
kid.
gonna give you a noogie. But yeah, I had such a good time watching it again. It's great. Yeah, and I mean, I was having a ball. Like I was quite drunk watching this again. Just like really,
Hell yeah.
My notes became more. I took notes this time because I knew I would want to hit specific things, and my notes become sloppier and more like illegible as
like
the
bottom
as the
of the
notepad
page,
goes on.
you're not writing on the line. It's just scribbles going across it.
Yeah, I haven't even re-reviewed them this morning, so I'm sure that they're like. We'll see how they're if I can even
Yeah, how they hold
decipher
up.
them.
Yeah,
But so, how did you like it?
I liked it. It was really fun. I didn't watch it super late. I think some of the only movies that I've watched super late was like during our horror binge.
Yeah,
Like
they're more
Pulse,
fun that
I
way.
watched it like 2 a.m. Like
That's
it's dark
super
out.
crazy.
I'm hearing like the wind outside, like hitting the shutters, and I was like, "Oh fuck, oh god," which I think added to the experience, honestly.
Yeah.
But no, this movie watched during the day because I had a day off yesterday, in quotes, which
Crazy.
was nice, but yeah, I don't know.
This movie deserves a nighttime watch with 3 to 5 glasses of Chardonnay.
Yeah, 3 to 5 beverages of choice.
Specifically wine. Yeah.
Of Lane's choice, actually.
Yes.
Of Lane's frame. No.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would have really liked to. This is gonna sound dumb, but I've seen like movies where you can. They've got like a bar attached, and you can get like nachos and like drinks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
This movie would have gone crazy there. I mean, this movie would go crazy like in a bar, but a bar where people are watching the movie. Like,
Have you ever? Yeah. No. Honestly, if they played this movie at. I'm going to avoid saying the name of the bar so that I don't have to bleep anything, but
Yeah.
you know the bar I'm about to say, the one they play
Yeah.
Jeopardy at in the town where you live.
right.
They play this. If they played this movie in that bar, it would go crazy. I would be there, like rapt
Oh, yeah.
attention. I'd be like, give me $50 worth.
You just slap a 50 down on the bar.
Yeah,
You're
just
like,
keep loading me up. Yeah,
give me whatever this gets me. You like sit on the table. Just keep driving.
We don't really talk about this because the movie theaters all out where you are, which is where we go to see movies usually, are all kind of crappy. Like
Yeah.
they don't have good.
Well, there's
Have
a
you ever
bad one
been
and
to,
a
like,
nice one. Like,
Yeah. Have you been to like an Alamo Draft House or like any kind of? You've never been to a movie theater where they have like a bar or like they serve you food or anything like that?
well, kind of. I haven't been to an Alamo Draft House one, but I went to one with my friend Gino around the time of his wedding, where they had a
Is it
nacho
Flick's
bar.
Brew House? Oh, okay. There's
no.
like a few different. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I've been on a nacho kick recently, and like I think I told
I
him
can
about
tell.
it when I was down there.
It's like
and,
the third time you said something today.
Today, I know. Yeah. It's resurging. It's resurging. But this was like a couple months ago. And I was like, yeah, man, I don't know, I've just been into nachos lately. He's like, bro, like, there's like a movie place by my house a movie theater by my house that has like nachos. I was like, oh, bro,
Yeah.
we gotta go.
What did you see? What'd you see?
It was an anime movie.
Oh, fucking
Yeah,
Blaze
I don't
Blue.
even. It wasn't Blaze Blue. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't Your Name or anything like that. But it was something that was like having a release in America. It was around the time of Look Back, but it was right before it. I don't recall, but I
Interesting.
don't know.
Okay.
It was good, but it was definitely more of like a fun, just like hang movie. And so like
Yeah.
being able to get up, grab some nachos in the middle of it. Oh, it's crazy,
great.
bro.
Yeah. I do love snacking during a movie, especially at the theater. I have to have something, but
Yeah.
I hate that I'm like, well, now I'm out. And it's only, I have an hour to go. Like, I gotta do something. Like, I'm like sitting there. That's, honestly, I wear a lot of rings.
So you have like
And
something to fidget with, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's not the only reason, but like, sometimes I'm like, oh, if I didn't have these, I'd be a goner. Like, I'd be picking at my skin or something if I didn't have these to play with. Or like something to eat. Yeah.
I
no,
love popcorn for that,
nachos.
but like, I need it super salty, super buttery, like, and they're never hot long enough, you know? Like, I want hot popcorn in the middle of my movie.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind that, but it does have to be, like, good popcorn or, like, you know, doused in flavor, you know?
Yeah,
so
yeah. Eating 5 bags of popcorn in one sitting during a movie.
Every time you make this joke, you add another bag of popcorn.
I feel like it was
definitely no more than, it was not more than 3. There's no way.
Maybe,
if it was even 3. God. So
just sitting there eating 7 bags of popcorn once.
This movie, a little to take us back, you know, on the track here. I think deserves the elevated Triscuits and spinach and artichoke dip.
Yeah,
like, I feel like that it required something a little bit more
substantial,
snazzy. Yeah, no, not substantial. Just like higher class. This is a classy movie. Okay, I love it. Yeah, this movie is
wine during it.
Exactly. It's indulgent, you know. Like popcorn isn't really an
There's
indulgent
a bowl of dark
snack.
chocolate over there, maybe some cherries.
Yeah, something. Yeah, you're on the right track. Yeah. So, before we talk about this movie, I want to describe... So I dug through the Letterboxd archives, because I knew I wrote this up at some point. I haven't actually read back through it. So, this wasn't actually a review of this movie, of Michael Clayton. This was a review of another movie called Truth. Okay. And I'm going to cold read this, and we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully this, like, gives an insight into kind of what I'm talking about when I say there's, like, a specific type of movie that I like.
Okay.
So, the movie I was writing about at the time, it was about Dan Rather, like, working, for the news and being, like, basically having this scandal about them releasing fake documents or, like, forged documents about George W. Bush's military history. Anyway, so it was a docudrama, whatever. We need a name for this type of movie. The adult drama that I crave watching on a Tuesday night with a jar of olives in hand while my boyfriend isn't home. A mix of procedurals, biopics, and domestic character studies, not always rising to the level of Oscar bait because, though they might deal in serious subjects, capitalized, serious subjects, like journalism or women's rights or crime, and they might even have big stars like Cate Blanchett or Al Pacino or Glenn Close giving their most mediocre performances. They are also much too important, capital I, read, bland, measured, unshowy for that. Far more self-important and staid than your Hillbilly Elegy or Maestro. These are your 2.5 to 3.5 slightly lib HBO movies dumped in late March. Your Wizard of Lies and Scoops and Official Secrets and Money Monster and Frost Nixon and The Wife and The Duchess and whatever else Adam Driver torture report movie was called. Completely inoffensive except for how badly they want you to take them seriously, these movies are practically the opposite of the dad movie in that they lack the genre elements and flippant attitude towards social consciousness that dad movies are known for. But I wouldn't call them mom movies either, which I would categorize as prioritizing emotional catharsis, both happy and tragic, first and foremost. This flavor of movie is soulless and bereft of catharsis, even though they want you to walk out with your head held high and full of important thoughts. At best, after 119 minutes, you are mildly amused that they got away with making a sympathetic movie about what it's like to be one of the cross-necklace-wearing blondes at Fox News. What are these movies called? 9/11 post-disillusionment dramas? Spotlight core? I think I'll watch that embezzlement Hugh Jackman movie next. So, that is like a type of movie that I love watching those on planes. I love watching those in hotel rooms. Just like, this is a bad movie or like a mid movie going in. I know it's going to be, you know, it's going to deal with these like adult things, but it's kind of going to handle it really clumsy. It's not going to strike a great, you know, balance between some of these things. It's not going to really go ballsy. It's just kind of like comfort food. And Michael Clayton is like, if these movies were good, is what you would get. I
was going to say, I think this is like close,
I was shit talking.
It's not like,
it's not bad. Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, like I see where you're coming from, but Michael Clayton's a good movie, so.
Yeah. It's like there are so many of these like serious movies, like serious adult, like, you know, dramas that just like they take themselves seriously and they want you to regard them seriously, but they're just like not very, like, they're kind of workmanlike. There isn't a lot of showiness to them, and they're just fine, you know, they go down easy, and I like those.
I feel like the fact that they are so workmanlike, it helps it appeal, like, because it appeals to like a very wide audience, right? There's nothing like crazy about it, and it's not going to like push their like belief systems at all or make them really question anything outside of like very superficial, like, maybe the multi-trillion-dollar corporation doesn't love me personally. It's
yeah. So Michael Clayton is the best possible version of this. I think this movie is like, how do I want to say it? Like the perfect mix of like kind of subverting your expectations but still delivering an incredibly like mainstream popcorn kind of like legal thriller. Not legal thriller, but like, you know, kind of like whatever political, you know, whatever you want to call that, legal thriller. And like, yeah, it's amazing at striking that balance. I think George Clooney is incredible in it. Tilda Swinton, incredible. Tom Wilkinson, Sidney Pollack, all of them are like just hit like, you know, whatever, batting 1,000. And it's just so watchable. It's really like the kind of movie where you go, damn, they don't make movies like this a lot.
They made movies like this illegal. Isn't that crazy? Nobody can make them like this
anymore. They outlawed it. Yeah, they actually took this movie back to Wisconsin, where it had a criminal record for
and could be
so they could commit it
locked away. Yeah, it could be committed.
But so this was just a comfort movie of mine, I would say. Okay, anyway, I've talked enough. Tell me more about your thoughts before I keep going into my notes.
I agree with a lot of that. I want to say that it's really funny how this movie isn't like, I don't know, a lot of movies that are like very like, legal battle-esque, they'll sort of like really focus on like the weird technicalities, or like, like, look how badass they were for like staying up all night. So like the scenes that we get in the beginning of like the 600 lawyers like running around and stuff, it would be like that.
It's pathetic.
Right, but it would be that for, I mean, not like most of the movie, but
the whole
there would
movie,
be many shots of that, and then interspersed with like just like their meetings inside of it. And like if you're getting action shots, it's them like walking to and from the courtroom, or like we did it, we discovered the big break in the case, and it's like, all right, like, cool, I guess.
Calling this a legal thriller is kind of underselling it, because it's really not. I mean, there's no courtroom like stuff, you know, all the important stuff happens outside of the courts. It just happens to be about a bunch of lawyers at a law firm. Yeah. So it's that's what I mean by kind of subverting expectations, where it's like, you know, you expect George Clooney to come in and be like, like this badass, like cool, you know, cool-headed, and like, he is cool and cool-headed, and he is great at his job, and that's so fun to watch, but he's tired, man. He is so, like, the recession is like in his heart, if not in the world yet, like at the time of this movie. And so, you know,
the shadow of it falls heavy upon him.
And like at this point, he's basically peak movie star, right? Like he's in the Ocean's movies, like, you know, George Clooney as like, you know, leading man is like at its peak, and he's always got that kind of like coolness to him, where he's like a, you know, whether he's subverting it or leaning into it, he's always like, supposed to be a guy who's got it together. He's got something cooking under the surface, but you're not going to see it unless he wants you to. And like, this movie, it's so good at just like, what's under the surface is that he wants to kill himself. Like, what's under the surface is that he hates this, that he wants out, and that he's full of like, basically rage, or like, like seething, like, hatred for everything he's done. Like the arc of his character through the movie, where he goes from being kind of like simpering, like, could I get my $80,000 bonus for, you know, to being like at the end, like, you know, taking the picture of Tilda Swinton and basically canning his whole career and the entire, you know, firm. It's great, and he is perfectly cast. I mean, I think it's his best performance. It's truly like a movie star role, you know. It's like great to watch.
It's also funny how they sort of address a lot of this through the text of the film, like especially like his kid talking to, who was it, Arthur, the other guy.
Yeah, on the phone.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
It is a
great.
funny
like,
scene.
What a great scene.
But it's also, like, it's, I don't know, it's one of those, like, I don't want to say two-faced conversations, but, like, one where, like, neither party is on the same wavelength, but they're saying the same things, right? And so...
It's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's excellent, but it also, like, it starts to... I don't know, those are the first hints that we get that, like, oh, hey, like, maybe Arthur isn't completely crazy, and then, like, oh, so, like, we start to, like, we get to watch that wear against... I don't remember what our main character's name is. It's Michael Clayton. I'm trolling. Wow. Oh my god. Lane's laughter is clipping the microphone because I can't hear it.
I'm sorry. All right,
That's
anyway.
crazy. Wow.
You're the one who was like, Baguette's Three Horses? Like, what is this character's name? Realm and Conquest? What if this movie was called Realm and Conquest?
Oh, that'd be sick, actually. That'd be cool as fuck.
No.
Because then they could sell, like, they could sell it in DVDs, and it would just be, like, all red, and it would say, like, Realm and Conquest on the front.
And they could make a book, and then also a card game, like Balatro, where it's digital, that you could play on your...
That'd be crazy, man.
The scene of the kid on the phone with him, where the kid's just like, yeah, it's this book, and it's cool because everybody's having the same dream, and then you cut to Tom Wilkinson, rest in peace, curled up, holding the phone like he's talking to like God.
Yeah,
like he's like on the phone, like he's like in the fetal position, like holding it so close to his face, he looks like a little kid, and he's like, well, what's the name of the book? Like, it's so good.
He's got the tidy whities and the like white tee on.
Yeah, and it's
they're all having the same dream, but it's not the same, or I don't know, but
yeah, it manages to strike this balance of like, okay, it's creepy and he's crazy that he's talking to this kid this way is like kind of off-putting, but you are like, oh, this is like driving him further into, like, this is reaffirming his pursuit of the truth,
right?
Which it is true, but the means of approach is not great. So the whole thing is it's very watchable. It's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I challenged you last week. Could you pick out the 2 scenes that are on my YouTube playlist?
Fuck! I didn't even... Oh, I wasn't looking at it with that lens. Fuck!
Can you, retroactively, can you think of what those 2 scenes might be?
Is one of those scenes the baguette scene?
No, actually.
No.
Okay. That's a great scene. There could be fully like 5 or 6 scenes from this movie on that YouTube playlist. But... there's 2 that I like to specifically revisit.
Is one of those the car bomb scene?
No, actually, either. Not that.
And
too,
there's like 2.
That is also
there's like 2 of them.
Good.
So I was like, oh,
right, because you see it again. Yeah.
That makes it tougher. I feel like it's got to be something that has like not a quippy one-liner in it, but like a one-liner, which is pretty recognizable.
So. Yeah, sort of. Okay, so the first one is the kind of like the not the opening scene, but the scene where Michael gets called to go to the shitty guy's house who hit a runner.
Yeah.
I love that scene, the I'm a janitor scene, like where he's like,
so like when he's in the house, like that speech.
When he's when the guy's like, he says, like, I don't like the way this is going. Are you even a lawyer? Are you even good at your job? And he's you hit a guy. The cops want to kill you. Like, you have 10 minutes to get a lawyer here. Like, it's so good. And it does, number one, I think Clooney's delivery of it is incredible to just be, it sets the entire tone of the movie, of how, like, tired he is. Especially, you don't realize at the time, in the timeline, like, that this is after basically all the events of the movie, of like Arthur being found dead and like all of the stuff with North. Like basically that is one of the last events timeline wise before he, goes and he gets the car bomb and then he, does the ending. So you're not realizing it, but he has seen it all. And so he does such a good job of like conveying so much with his eyes, like his soulful, you know, like he's so good at smiling without smiling, like smiling with his face but not his mouth. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see he's like so over this fucking rich asshole, and like the whole thing he's had to deal with for the last couple of weeks, he just wants to gamble. And so he's, you know, and his like cool, like, you know, you go into this and you hear like, oh, he's a fixer, he's like the best at what he does, he's, you know, they're calling him at a late night to fix a problem, and
Lane's
then the
doing
fix
the
is
Play-Doh snakes.
Actually, I am. Yes, I am doing the raised by flies.
Yeah.
And you know, so you're like, oh, this is going to be like action packed. This is George Clooney. It's like his Ocean's, you know, 11 kind of character where he's like, you know, he's going to be cool and say all the right things. And really, he's just like, this is a mess. I'm here to clean it up. You fucked up. The answer is simple. You need to go get a good lawyer. Like, it's not like he has this clever loophole or anything like that. He's tired. He knows that the system's rigged, and he knows the exact way to play it, and it's not exciting, and it doesn't bring him any joy. You know, so it's great.
What I really like about it is that it sort of defines Michael Clayton. He's not a fixer, right? Like, he's not going to go and like clean up the crime scene.
He's a fixer, but he's not. Yeah, he's not like that. Like, he's not like Jason Statham, or right. Yeah.
And he's not like he's not making it all better. He's just giving you a solution.
Yeah, he's cleaning it up.
Yeah, he's cleaning it up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it, like, I don't know. It's a distinction that doesn't really mean much, I guess, in the beginning of the film. Or like one that I didn't recognize, at least in the beginning of the film. I was like, oh, okay, like, sure. I was still trying to get a feel on like what this guy does then, like who he is. And then like the entire rest of the film, like when it comes back around and you get to see that, like, oh, like this happens after everything. I was like, oh, fuck, man. Okay. All right. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, now I get it. Like, he's different from them. Like, he's different from, like, the guys who are...
Rest in peace, but...
After him.
He is
right.
built
yeah,
different.
he's actually built different. It's sort of... I don't know. It's, like, Michael Clayton is such a, like, weird, interesting character. And it's so funny how, like, there's so many different layers of people in the movie who are, like... They try to, like, convince him either that it's, like, a good thing or a horrible thing, but, like, at the end of the day, they're like, listen, you're not a fucking lawyer and you're not a fucking cop, so, like, what are you?
Yeah. It's good. It's, this movie is, I think it has a great screenplay. Like, I think that the interactions that you're talking about where people kind of, like, you know, they're not always that obvious, and the power imbalances play out on screen very well. Like, when he first meets Karen... the Tilda Swinton character. Yeah. Like, he sits down and he's like, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. And she kind of, like, cows him a little bit for like, you know, how Arthur behaved. And he tries to explain. And he's kind of like, you know, he's later, you know, Sidney Pollack is like, you didn't exactly impress her. And she was like, and he says, like, well, I was trying to buy time. You know, the whole thing is just him coming into his own over the course of these interactions with these different people. It's just, it's really, great storytelling. And then
because she does kind of, like, when he walks in, she does kind of not blow him off, but like you said, like, she cows him, and it's almost like saying, like, hey, you're not a lawyer, like, you're not on my level, like, this is not an even discussion. Why are you, like, showing up late? Like, is that like, is that power move? Like, what's going on here?
It's that this movie is so adult and, like, so doesn't treat you like an idiot. You know, no one comes out and is like, I mean, at one point they do kind of give, like, okay, this was Michael Clayton's biography, but no one is like, he's the best person who cleans up messes that they have. Like, they, you know, there isn't ever, like, a very, like, you know, straight up, like, this is what his exact role at this company is, and, like, here's all the things that he's done. Like, it's not spoon-fed to you in that way. So, I remember the first time I watched this, I mean, I don't remember the exact circumstances, but I definitely remember being confused. I remember thinking, like, I'm not sure, like, what's going on, like, who, you know, and I was probably, like, 14 when I watched this the first time, if that. But, you know, it's so much better for it, and, like, allows you just to be, especially on rewatches, like, kind of, submersed in the world, like, to, you know, of, like, how sleazy it is, and you feel how tired he is and how busy he is, that he's just having these, like, kind of tossed off conversations where he's like, oh, the DA wants a show of forest down in Florida, and it's just like a random case that he's working on. And you just see, where he says like, let me get a pen, and he's already holding a pen, he holds the phone off. It's just like little character moments that you're allowed to kind of spend because you don't have to waste the time with the exposition all at the beginning to like show you who he is. So it's smart, and it treats you smart, which is great. It's nice. What a good fucking movie.
Yeah. Speaking of the beginning...
This might be my favorite movie that we've covered. This might be my favorite.
Wow, okay.
Maybe not the best movie. I would not say that this is like the best movie ever made, but this is maybe pound for pound my favorite movie. Okay, I'd have to really think about it. Maybe The Thing would beat it, but other than that, I don't know. Anyway, I cut you off, sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. I'm going to make 2 jokes that you're going to hate back to back. You want them?
That's fine. Do you want me to take my earbuds out?
No, I want you to hear this, actually. First one, the intro, it's sort of like Watchmen-like, right?
Oh my god. How? Literally how?
The intro monologue where Arthur is like, yeah, and then I walked through,
I know what you mean.
And it was like passing through the womb. Yeah. And it's like very much
he's like, I'm covered in a film. I'm in the afterbirth of this disgusting organization. It's great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's like the Watchmen intro, but good, right? Like where he's like,
this is the same.
There was a clown and he laughed.
Is this not the same year as Watchmen?
Maybe it is. That's kind of funny if it is.
I think Watchmen's 2007. Let me make sure I'm not lying. No, 2009. Wow. So yeah, this movie Watchmen owes its life to fucking
It does, honestly. And then also while I was watching it, I got to the point where they're like sort of like looking over him, right? And while he was like going to the car and stuff, and I was like, oh, but who will watch The Watchmen? And like, so 2 points of this movie, I was like, I'm gonna make Watchmen comparisons, and Lane's gonna hate me for it.
I do hate you. It's true. Well, it's easy to like. I wrote in here. Okay, time to break out the notepad.
Oh, breaking out the notepad.
One of my first notes I took was 2007. Period. Cell phone cinema. Period. Recession cinema. Period. Adult cinema. Period. And like, it really is I don't want to say a prescient movie because I don't think that's giving a movie a little bit too much credit probably, but that like right at the end of like good time, early 2000s, after 9/11, before the recession, I feel like this movie is right there, kind of like knocking on the door of like 2008, being like, oh shit, like everyone's gonna feel this sense of immense pressure financially. Like people are not, they're getting fucked by corporations. Like, it's kind of like a time capsule, but a year early. Like, in a way. I don't know. And like, of course, all the cell phone stuff is great. I fucking love old cell phones in movies. That shit is so good.
Is that like, what they were talking about with like the grid when they were doing like the GPS thing? And they were like, oh, like what's the problem? Is it the signal or the grid? When they're chasing it.
I think, or the electric grid, I think is what they're referring to. But,
okay. Because like I didn't know like what they were referencing it off of. Because like, I mean that is very time capsule-y. Like there's a very particular point in time where you had to worry about like the grid on cell signals or like tracing or whatever.
Coverage.
So, of coverage, which is just like very much so lost from like the public consciousness, I guess.
That's true.
No.
Yeah. Anytime a movie has like, oh, I have no cell service. Yes, you do. Fuck off. Like, unless you're like in a cave.
Fucking liar.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie, a close number 2 to The Departed as far as cell phone representation goes. The Departed has like the time. There are so many scenes in The Departed where people slam flip phones closed. It's like the third act. Like the third.
I don't even remember that. It's
actually
much.
A cell phone. Really? It's like every scene ends with every cell phone conversation, somebody's like angrily closing a razor. It's great. It's so good. Yeah. But this movie is great too for it. Yeah.
I was going to say the movie with phones that really sticks out to me, and maybe it's just because I rewatched it recently, is Heat. And the like...
Heat does have good phones. Yeah.
I'm talking... What does he say? I'm talking to a dead man on the other end of the line? He says like, I'm talking to nothing. Yeah. Or like... Yeah.
He says, because there's a dead man on the other end of this phone.
Yeah. Yo, I'm doing right now. I'm talking to air
Heat
because there's
is-
a dead man on the other side. I was like, yo, bro.
Heat is also a movie. I think one of my reviews of Heat on Letterboxd is literally like, this movie's 3 hours of Pacino hanging up on people. Because he does. The movie basically opens after the bank robbery and he hits the scene. Like, there are like probably like 4 scenes in the next half hour of him driving around getting information and being pissed off about the info he's getting and hanging up the phone.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like every time where he's like, perfect, and then like an immediate hang up, like the guys at the lab.
Yeah, because they're like, I don't know, man. These explosives could have been from Arizona, New Mexico, California, or Oregon, and he's like, thanks, bye. Like, he doesn't say thanks. He just hangs up. Yeah. But the thing with Heat is, that movie, I mean, it's like 10 years, 12 years older than this one. Mm-hmm. They have those huge,
the car
comical
phones.
fucking phones. The car phones.
So
that are like, they look like toys. They look like, I'm trying to think, they look like, they're made out of like the material that VHS tapes are made out of. They're like these like bulky black, like you think that this thing's gonna like break in half.
It's like good, a kid's toy. It does look like a kid's like army.
It does.
Army phone.
Yeah,
it's
like Fisher Price.
Cool. Yeah. They've got it in those big like yellow and red cars that you like walk around in.
Yeah. You did mention the opening monologue. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Tom Wilkinson, he's so great. He's such a good fucking actor. And that monologue, his delivery is like, I mean, it really puts you on your back foot to start with, because you're like, what kind of movie am I in? Like, what? Like, is this a murder mystery? There's like, it's so good. Like, all of the shots of like the empty or nearly empty offices, like you're describing before they show like everybody in this room. Mm-hmm. It's like, what terrible thing happened in this like empty, office building? All the lights are off, and like it just seems kind of gross, and it really does fill you with dread.
Yeah.
And it seems like, oh, someone died, and like, did this guy kill someone? Like, or all these empty rooms, just it rocks you, and his delivery is great.
Yeah, and it also, at least for me, right, when you like Michael gets the call about like the dude hitting someone, right? It's like immediately, like, at least for me, I wanted to tie this together. I was like, did the phone call come from the guy who got hit? Like,
right.
Like, I was like, oh, is like the hit a part of like the evil that this corporation does? And it's like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Which it is, but it isn't. Yeah.
I mean, like, to a degree, sure, but like, yeah.
Thematically, but not directly.
Yeah. Which is, it's super cool. Just the way that they sort of like layer, these different ideas, I guess. And then they're just like, I don't know. So like, I did the same thing with Heat, right? Where like, you hear about Waingro, you hear about Al Pacino's like stepdaughter's dad being a deadbeat, right? And you're like,
oh, right, yeah, and you were like, they're the same guy, right?
Right, right.
Waingro is, nope.
And I'm gonna use the same line that you use then. Like, a lesser movie would tie them together, right? And it would wrap it up in a neat little bow, right? Same with this one. Yeah. I mean, well, not the same, I guess, because, well, I don't know, similar though, right? For sure.
Yeah, that guy that they call,
cool. No.
I mean, the guy that he goes to visit, like, really hit a guy. That was really just another shitty client of theirs that they had to deal with. It just so happened, like, the coincidence of, like, the timing of the car bomb helped in this case. So
just
like,
a drop in the bucket for them, though. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's good. It's good in that way. And Tom Wilkinson's, like, performance, it is basically, like, as crazy as you can get without bordering on parody. I think he does a great job. You know? And the description of like, or like the portrayal of mania, I feel like is pretty spot on in that way, where it's like, well, this guy's not like, I am literally Jesus. Like, he says, or like he because it doesn't always come to that. When a person is,
it's not the secret genius trope.
Yeah, it's just that he, has this, like, crisis, truly, of conscience.
Yeah.
And that just, like, coupled with his, whatever, all of, like, his recent wife's death and all of that. It's great. He performs it so well, and it is so well written. Like, some of the lines, he's just fucking, like, throwing fastballs. Like, when he says, like, is that the correct answer to the multiple choice of me? Like, he just delivers it so well, or like the Shiva God of Death thing.
Yeah,
it's so good. Yeah.
The Shiva God of Death line was so good that they had to like shout it out in the movie itself. Yeah. They were like, we're not letting this bagger fall by the wayside, just in case you missed it earlier, right?
Speaking of that, that is the scene. That is the other scene.
Okay.
That's the one I revisit even more. Because
it's so good. Yeah.
So it's so fucking good. It is an incredible, like, unstoppable force meets immovable object of acting, like, of movie stars who are also great actors. Like, the two of them talking and, like, it is so, like, I don't even know how to describe how I feel watching that scene. It's just so good. It's, Tilda Swinton won an Oscar. Actually, funnily enough, her Oscar speech is one that I've watched several times too, although it's not on the playlist officially. But, she won the Oscar.
Honorary mention, yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's a good speech. She opens it by going, "Oh, no." And then she calls out George Clooney's Batman nipples, and, like, she says a bunch of other funny stuff. It's funny. Because he played Batman.
Oh, wow.
George Clooney played Batman in the 90s, and his suit had nipples on it, and that's what people always... Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
But so, yeah, I think that her performance in that scene is, like... I mean, everything in this movie is great. But her performance in that scene, I could watch it on repeat. And in fact, I did. I watched it, like, probably 4 times in a row yesterday.
She looks like an animal in a trap. Like a fox. Like, with its foot
She does! I wrote that! I wrote the word weasel.
Weasel! That's good. Yeah, weasel. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, throughout the whole movie, she's so, vicious and, like, trying to make these terrible decisions. Like, not hard decisions, but just, like, she's choosing the terrible option. And you can tell that her body is betraying her because she's, it opens with her sniffing her armpits because she's sweating, or, like, the ones. So, like, she's so, animal and real. Like, the way she's styled is great. And, in that scene especially, she starts to shake. Her face is, like, twitching. She even, when she's, like, trying to get back to the room, and she's kind of like, what? Huh? Like, she starts to talk several times and, like, can't decide what she's gonna say to him. It's such a good fucking performance. The way she delivers a specific line in that scene, right after he takes the picture, and he's like, "You're so fucked," and she goes, "You don't want the money?" And, like, the way she, like, she does something with her face when she gets to, like, the word want. Like, halfway through the sentence where realizes, like, her character realizes that what's going on, like, that he had a wire or whatever. And it's just such a great piece of fucking acting. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gushing over it.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, you talked earlier about George Clooney's face acting. Yeah, I'm saying face acting again this up. We're bringing it up. Every episode we're mentioning it.
That's okay. That's okay.
But so many characters do so well with conveying, like, just, like, a myriad of emotions in, like, a short time period, just through their faces when they're talking. That's great. Yeah, it's really good stuff.
Yeah. She, too, I mean, in that scene, after he starts to walk away and the cops kind of walk up, and she's, like, out of focus in the background, and she just, like, falls.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's also one of the first times you see her full, like, frame. And I hadn't noticed it before. I noticed this time. Another scene I really like is when she's practicing for the interview in the beginning, and she keeps saying things differently. That's my American Psycho face, routine scene. Like, that is, And she has a terrible dye job in her hair. I never realized how, like, kind of, like, mousy and, like, brassy her hair looks. It's and I think it's intentional.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, right.
She's kind of, like, aping these, like, male aesthetic things. Like, she's wearing the power suits, and she's got, like, nice but not flashy jewelry, and, like, she has on these fucking shoes that I hadn't noticed until the end in this scene this time. She has on these, like, very sensible, I would call them, I'm using air quotes, like, shoes of, like, flats that are, pointy-toed, and they just look... Her outfit's just so fucking ugly. It's just so, like... It's so girl boss ugly.
Yeah.
And I think I never realized how much it, Clooney's wearing a good suit, but it's not a great suit. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the costuming I think is great, and it lends to her character. I mean, Tilda's like a star in this. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm not even being coherent.
No, I mean, you're right. It is great, though.
Buy 85 baguettes.
Something that you mentioned in your Letterboxd review of the other movie, I forget what the other movie was, but you said that it was like character studies that sort of fall short, right? And I feel like this movie delivers. Like, there's a bunch of character studies where because like you get like sort of intimate views of different people's lives, and like just through the choices that they're making, and like the sort of like boxes that they're putting themselves inside of, or I guess in Michael Clayton's case, breaking themselves out of after like we've seen him in the box for so long. So it's super interesting to see like all of, I don't want to say like that there's many different character arcs because like really it does just focus on Clayton's, but like everyone else is still like making choices that are like very much so defining them as people. So I don't know. Yeah, it's super cool.
Well, that's I think you get the character study of the three of them because they're all faced with this selling your soul kind of thing, right? Like Arthur like snaps, he has this like I said, crisis of conscience where he can't do it anymore, but he's been doing it. Yeah. So he basically self-destructs. Then the Karen character, like she like doubles down. She's like, okay, I'm gonna escalate to killing people. Yeah. And then Clayton, like you said, breaks free, but then succeeds. Like he has the basically luck / like inspiration. He sees the three horses, kind of like which way Western man type of like moment. Reminding him of Arthur, and kind of that leads him to be safe or to be saved. So yeah, you do get like how would three different people approach being kind of given this like blood money or blood contract? Kind of thing.
But then you also like you get to look at people who have already sold their souls, right? Like and been
for like 30 years.
Like the other people at the firm when Clayton was talking to the one guy, and he was like, yeah, but like wouldn't they have like smelled that it was bad? Or, like wouldn't they be able to tell that it was bad? And the guy's like, yeah.
And he's like, yeah,
this stunk 15 years ago. Yeah. Like we've all been guilty, but we're getting that like 9 million or whatever it was. Like we're getting that money that they owe us. We're not letting them go down before we get paid. And like I think a part of that is also what like helped define for Michael. Like, all right, well, I don't that's essentially the like, hey, like, do you want to double down? Do you want to become like them? Or do you want to try breaking out? And like, if so, how do you do it in a way that doesn't get you killed? And like, that framed as a suicide, right? It's like, all right, fuck, man.
Did you ever have a KFC double down?
No, what?
I'm hungry. Do you know what they are?
No, I don't.
Let's talk about recession food. It was basically, Google it. Just Google it. I can't. It's like a sandwich but instead of bread, it's chicken.
Ooh, that sounds fire. High key.
Yeah. You'll see. It's like you've got bacon and cheese and like whatever else, and then instead of instead of buns, it's like 2 pieces of breaded chicken.
Ooh, the Wikipedia page picture looks much better than the AI overview picture. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
It's been described as controversial and wildly impractical. I would eat the fuck out of that, to be honest with you. They gotta bring that back.
I think it is back.
Ooh, okay. Recession
Maybe not.
indicator?
I don't know for sure. Yeah.
No, I've only ever had, like, the family packs from KFC. I fucking love that. Getting mac and cheese and corn? Oh, baby.
Corn is the best thing America ever did.
True! American dent? Putting a dent in the fucking world, I don't know.
Not the nutritional analysis section of the Wikipedia page here.
Oh, don't even. Why are you looking at that? Lane, you gotta double down.
I know, I'm doubling down.
The double down is not for people who look at nutritional information.
Honestly, 610 calories for this is not bad. That's kind of crazy.
How many grams of protein? 70?
Literally like 52, which is crazy.
Fuck,
yeah.
Close, not bad.
There's
though.
a lot of fat,
nuts.
a lot of fat in fried chicken.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the fact that it's chicken, I don't know. I mean, 52 for 610 is not bad at all.
No, I don't think so at all. I say this as I pick up my phone, and one of the only notification I have is from Domino's Pizza telling me to order.
You're in your Domino's era. Wait, what's your Skype thing? It's yeah, in my Domino's era. Nice, yeah. Okay.
It used to be in my Taco Bell era, but yeah. No, I mean, anyway, we don't have to get into we don't need to expose. I don't need to tell myself here on Mike, not on the Michael Clayton not on my Lane's frame.
Dude, I think too late, man. You're the one saying you only have a Domino's app notification.
Oh, I was going for Ed. I was going in the Ed direction.
Wow.
So
get away from there.
I know. Yeah, get away from me. Sidney Pollack plays the older guy who Michael Clayton goes to, like who's at the house and is going through stuff.
Yeah.
He is an actor, but he's also a director. Probably more famous as a director of two pretty famous like conspiracy thriller. I guess that's a better way to describe this movie, is conspiracy thriller than like a legal thriller. One of them called The Firm, which you might have heard of. It has Tom Cruise in it. That's a fun movie. And then 3 Days of the Condor, which is a political conspiracy movie from the 70s with Robert Redford. Ooh. So I think his casting's a little meta in putting him in. He does a good job playing like a skeezy, like old guy who knows, not skeezy like, a sex criminal, but like, just a dude who's sold his soul for money kind of a thing. Yeah.
Skeezy, he knows the underbelly.
Yeah. So, he's great. He's fun. He's just like a delightful villain. I love actors who play villains. Like, that's always fun.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of great performances. I can't think of one.
Yeah.
One character that would be like, oh, like, get this guy off the screen. He didn't know what he was doing. I don't have a get this guy off the screen for this movie. I want more people on the screen. No, I don't want more people on the screen. But
yeah, no, I could use another 2 hours of this movie. If this movie had like another 2 hours of movie in it, I'd be like, okay, let's bust out.
I'm not complaining, right?
Yeah.
Let me go order more nachos, but I'm not complaining. Right? Like, give me an intermission.
There are two things in this movie are Ricky coded.
In what way? Like something I would like or something I would do?
The latter. So first is that the son's bedroom looks the way it does. So just action figures, if this movie was made 15 years later, if this movie was made today, the kid would have the collectible Dragon Ball Z Reese's Puff boxes.
Oh yeah.
Like on his walls.
If this movie was made today, the kid would have Funko Pops. Just saying,
That too. He'd have both. He has a lot of room in there. So
yeah.
That I was like, that's Ricky. And then when Michael Clayton is casing Arthur's house, or like he's in there kind of like rifling around looking for stuff, and he opens the fridge, and the fridge has 65 fruit cups and 2 poured glasses of champagne.
I thought I told you to get away from Ed, okay? What are we doing here? Is this the Air Out episode? What's going on, man?
This is Michael Air Out from 2007, directed by Tony Gilroy.
Speaking of which, I have only just recently... I still haven't cracked into the boxes of fruit snacks that I now own.
Fruit snacks? Pause. Those are gummy bears, bitch. Don't fuck with me.
They are gummy bears. They're fruit-flavored gummy bears, so they're true to fruit gummy bears.
I'm about to shoot you like Wangro in the beginning of...
And I'm just sitting there like...
Don't fuck with me.
The dumb look on my face, like I can't hear.
You got blood coming out your ears.
Yeah.
Screaming into the mic.
Just sitting there, just not a thought behind the eyes.
We should do a Heat commentary. We've both seen it multiple times enough. I mean, now that you've seen it multiple times, we could do a fire commentary. That could be fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I don't think.
Yeah, but I finally got done a bag. Is what I was gonna say. I got done a bag. I still have 2 left in my backlog before I get to the 3 boxes.
You're just outing yourself as a Central PA guy by saying I got done with this. That is such a Central PA construction. Yeah, or like something I've noticed too, and people call me out on, is when I say this needs done, or
oh yeah, this needs done.
Yeah, instead of like this needs to be done.
Yeah,
like, yeah. Which is funny because I'm not fucking from here, but
probably my favorite like regional call out was my family was coming down and visiting, and like one of our servers at the corner room, she had an accent, right? And they were like, oh, she's got like a Central PA accent, that's cute. I was like, she's not from here. And they were like, no, she's got the accent, Rick. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I knew her. She was not from here. When she came back around, I was like, hey, Katie, where are you from, by the way? She's like, oh, New Hampshire. And they were like, I don't know. Like, their faces, like, all dropped. And I was like, thank you very much, Katie. But yeah, it was like, sure, it's an accent, but not every accent outside of Philadelphia is, like, the accent of the area. It's just a different accent than what you're used to hearing.
I get people from the Midwest think I sound like I'm from the East Coast, and then people from the East Coast think I sound like I'm from the Midwest. So, just because of like where I moved when I was growing up. So, like now, like I'll still say things like Michigan sayings or whatever, but then like there are things that I've shed as I've lived here in Pennsylvania for so long. They become vestigial. Like I don't say pop anymore. Like I can't. I actually sometimes I stop myself and correct, so I do say pop, especially if I'm talking to someone I know is from Michigan or the Midwest. Yeah, or like
just so you can feel like you fit in more.
I mean, also so they don't make fun of me.
You speak their lingo. Yeah.
Shout out August, who will definitely make fun of me if I said, soda. But then I also say y'all now, like because of my
love saying y'all.
I'm like. But like I was never on board with y'all. Y'all was not always part of my lexicon. Like I kind of was like, this is a forced, cringy way of like the way people say folks, like the gender neutral. Like y'all means all.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna stick with my you guys, which I do still.
Okay, you guys. I still good.
But like y'all comes out of my mouth so fucking naturally now. It's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like you've been in Texas a cumulative like 15 days in your life, like more than that. But
to be fair, I don't know. I heard y'all growing up all the time. Y'all never. Use guys. The only one that I never heard was usins. And that was one that I only heard when I've been
Yins is a Pittsburgh thing.
Yins, yins.
Yeah.
Yins. I haven't really heard all too often. That is kind of new, but yeah.
It's not yous guys in Michigan. It's you guys. Are you guys?
Yeah, you did say you guys earlier, and like when I went to repeat it, I said yous guys.
You had to say yous guys.
Fuck! I was like, that's so crazy. Yeah, it literally like trying to say you guys. Like I can feel my tongue forming the S at the end of you, and I'm like, oh,
your forehead is popping out, trying to not say it.
Yeah, because I can feel it, man. I can tell what's going on. I don't like it.
The S is programming.
Out. This is something evil. I'm doing evil right now. I gotta get it out. I gotta be done with this, man.
I gotta eat some baguettes. Fresh.
Yeah. They're warm. Best baguette I've ever eaten. Anyway.
When he walks up to him,
I could go for
are you
baguette?
Making a delivery?
Fuck. Yeah. So
they
funny.
do look good.
Yeah.
Man. What a great fucking movie. All of the stuff. I kind of forgot. So I knew, like, the central kind of plot of this movie is, like, the weed killer thing. But I hadn't really thought about it last week when we chose this movie. And I was like, oh, this is, like, one of those Ricky Catnip things. Like, a company that's dumping chemicals or whatever. Like, one of those. I love that genre of movie, too. Of, like, investigative thriller, like, specifically.
There's one, like, legal movie about something similar to this, where like a town was like being poisoned by some corporation.
Yeah, it's called Dark Waters. It's by Todd Haynes, and it stars Mark Ruffalo. It's a favorite movie of mine.
Cool. I was going to say, I really enjoyed that movie, but I don't remember it too well. But thank you, Lane.
Yeah. I think that's the movie you're probably thinking of. But yeah, it's there's a few movies in that kind of genre. We should watch... I remember the main actor being really, really good. I was like, oh, like that movie was like, I wouldn't say formative, but it was one that I saw in high school that was like, fuck, like this is a goddamn movie, man. Like shit, this is sick. You're not thinking about Aaron Brockovich, are you?
Couldn't tell you.
Because that's another movie with a similar kind of thrust of like, was it a woman or a man? It
was a man.
Okay, interesting. Dark Waters is a relatively new movie, but anyway. But no, if you like that kind of movie, like whatever, exposing a corporation, which I know is a pet interest of you,
big fan, yeah.
You should watch The Insider. I feel like I don't recommend movies for you to watch often. I'm usually just like, we'll watch it on the show. But
yes, yeah, you do that.
You would really fuck with The Insider. The Insider is Russell Crowe. It's directed by Michael Mann.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's about like a whistleblower. It's got Al Pacino in it too. It's
okay.
It's a great movie. It's about like a guy who whistleblows on the tobacco industry, specifically cigarettes, and it's just a great movie. That movie also has a scene that is on my Kino list for accent purposes mostly, but also because it's a good scene. So
wait, what movie?
It's called The Insider.
The Insider, okay. Because I looked up Inside Man, which is, I think, another movie that you've recommended
I have definitely
previously.
recommended to you. Yeah, that's a Spike movie.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Movie.
Yeah.
Anyone Inside, just if you have Inside in the title, probably a good fucking movie.
Big fan of being Inside. Big Inside guy over here.
True. Pause.
Inside Out, huge fan.
Wait, real quick, complete derail.
Yeah, like we've been on topic so far.
We're coming up on an hour 10. Like it's time. We're getting
all right. We'll tie it back. Yeah.
Yesterday, shout out Jessie, who probably will never listen to this episode of the show, my boss. But she listened to the While You Were Sleeping / Christmas Chronicles episode because she really
you sent me about that. Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, by the way, have you ever seen this movie called Dead Again?" Which is not a movie we've talked about, but it is one of my favorites. Directed by Ken Branagh, who did Henry V. We starred in and directed. And I was like, oh, I gotta get Ricky to fucking watch the long Hamlet again. Like,
is this a recommend for Ricky, or is it a we'll watch it later on the pod?
Dead Again I would recommend it more than I would say we should watch it on the pod. I don't think it's important enough.
Yeah,
but it's a good movie. It's like a romantic mystery.
I mean, it sounds good.
I literally said nothing. Oh, you look it up. Okay, I was like, from the name.
I'm looking up. You said Ken Branagh, and you mentioned some of the other things he's directed, which I've enjoyed.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah. No, on this podcast we will talk about his Hamlet, but Dead Again is a great movie. That's a movie. It's just like you like when hot people kiss. You like intrigue.
Interesting.
Like mystery.
Yeah, this looks good. Yeah.
So
also, just off of the cover, that's sick.
It's cool. It's a fucking sick poster. It's a sick poster. Yeah. That's a fun one. So
okay.
You'll like who plays the third, like the third lead in that movie.
The Tristotagonist.
Sure. Well, I guess not third. There's quite a few people in that movie actually that you'll recognize.
Okay. The Quadrotagonist.
Enough. But anyway, Jessie was like, "Yeah, I used to have such a crush on him," and I was like, "Same. Used to? Like, I'm a #1 Ken Branagh champion." Like,
when did that time out for you? Like,
yeah. That started 20 years ago for me and hasn't stopped. Like, I saw Chamber of Secrets and I was like, I'm in the bag.
Wow, I've been forever changed by this movie. That's a shame.
Yeah. Not a shame. Nope. Coming back to Michael Clayton and like the conspiracy corporation stuff of it all. video that he records and plays back over the phone to, like, whatever. When his house is bugged, when he makes the phone call, is so nonsensical corporate bullshit. If you, like, really pay attention to it, they're like, we plant the seed, we
till the soil.
No, they don't say till.
Wasn't that.
They use like a nonsense
mold the
word.
earth or something.
Yeah. They're like, we feed the earth, we find the seed, it's the word that they use for the soil is like nonsense.
We find the seed. We shape the soil. We speed the harvest. We feed the planet.
Stupid.
Yeah. It was very, like, guru-esque. Like,
yes!
Like there's, like, guru tapes that they put on,
Totally.
Which was, like, I don't know, weird and funny. Yeah, so what... I did want to kind of ask about that scene. Who does he call there? He doesn't call anyone, does he?
He calls himself, because he knows his house is bugged. So he's just leaving a message on his voicemail at his office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he knows that they're listening, so he's talking to them, but also leaving a voicemail.
Right. You know? I knew that he knew that they were listening and that he was talking to them, but I didn't know, like, who he had, like, called.
Yeah, he just called his office. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Because I also saw him fucking around with the tapes and stuff, too, and I was like... Yeah. I was like, I don't know what's going on there,
Yep. I mentioned, like, That's My American Psycho is the scene of her practicing her... little speech at the interview scene.
Yeah.
I think that is such a relatable, in a way, scene. And just, like, when you realize, after having watched the movie, when you realize just how, like, evil this woman is and, like, slimy and what she's defending, it is, it's chilling to watch how she, like, not just practices what she says and how she delivers it, but even the, like, tossed off laughs and, like, kind of smiles and stuff. It's so chilling. She's like, this is a fucking evil person. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's relatable because everybody's done that where they practice a speech or thought about what they're going to say for something important. But in this case, it's like, oh, this is, like, so evil. And she's saying, again, like, complete corporate nonsense for half of it, where she's like, it's about balance, and she, like, does the thing with her hands.
So we evaluated between the shareholders' responsibility and the
and our duty to the public, or our duty to the planet, our duty to the like. It's so good. I might watch it right after we're done.
Our duty.
It's going on the list. Yeah.
God. Oh man.
60 countries around the globe.
Put it in the rotation. Yeah.
More than 63. Like, it's so
we
good.
Find the seed, okay? We remedy the earth. We drink the blue
seed?
Water, okay? My Arrakis, my Dune.
We are crossing so many streams. I have yet to listen back to any of my voice notes of me doing the Nosferatu voice, so this will be interesting. I'm kind of afraid.
You don't listen back to any of them?
No, I send those bitches raw. Are you kidding me?
That's crazy!
I have sent you so many. Maybe I'll just end with those.
The record and send off cut is just nuts, bro.
Discord, you can't do it any other way. You have to just press release and just... And, like,
and just pray.
Your lips to God's ears, maybe what I'll do for this one is I will clip in all of those, but set them to the U North video sounds, so that it's Nosferatu talking over.
I don't hate that. That's a pretty good outro.
Yeah, that'll definitely not take 2 hours for me to do.
Well, if the spirit strikes you.
So,
just grab one or two.
One of the things I wrote on here, one of my last notes was, you could cook a hot dog on that fire, talking about the exploded car bomb. I don't know why I wrote that. It just must have looked hot, and I was... You
must be getting hungry near the end of the movie. Like, you're out of spinach and artichoke. You're pretty drunk. You're like, ooh, man. It hit.
I could go for a hot dog.
Hot dogs!
A hot dog cooked over the fire of a burned Mercedes.
Hot dogs roasted over a burned Mercedes.
Wait, no, we have to end with
Frost
that.
sniffing at your nose. No, we don't. Michael Clayton nipping at your nose. Anyway.
I mentioned earlier the word workmanlike, and you were kind of like, oh yeah, that's a good way of like, for these types of movies, you know, the worst versions of these movies to be more accessible to a broader audience, whatever.
Yeah.
And this movie is also somewhat workmanlike, but not in a... It's just not very flashy, the way it's shot.
They've
but
got
it's
some
very
really
clean.
cool shots.
Yeah, but they don't draw attention to themselves in the same way.
Right.
And the flashiest scene in the movie is the escalators, basically. Like, at the very end, when he's going down the down escalator, and then there's the up escalator that you see too. It's like an aerial shot as he's walking away. That kind of just, you know, signifies like, oh, he's like choosing to, you know, get off, basically. Like he's getting off the ride. Yeah.
I think even the intro scene, like we were talking about earlier, with like all the different
sure,
like
but it's
soaring through empty buildings, and then you get the...
But those are just like static shots of empty spots.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like they're not like bleh.
Yeah. Well, they don't watch
any
you with it, right? They're not like bleh.
Yeah.
You're like hey,
they're not like knives. Knife block.
Can you identify this kitchen?
But doctor.
I am Nosferatu.
Who are you doing? You're not.
I don't know.
Oh my god, we're losing it. Okay.
I could go for a hot dog.
The last thing I have is the credits. Great credits. Just like perfect. He gets in the cab, boom, credits roll. Yeah. You know, after he.
I know we riffed on the cab scene earlier, but yeah, that's
it's great.
That's great.
I mean, it's just,
and you just
sit there. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. And he just drives right into the financial crisis. It's like he's like looking at, you know, like it's coming.
He's looking at housing stock prices fall precipitously. Just
housing stock? What is housing stock?
Whatever. Stock prices, housing prices. Fuck you. The bubble burst. Okay? Fuck off. Fucking mortgages went to shit. Okay? Fuck you. The Fed, their rate went up or down, whichever the bad one is. Fuck you.
Fannie Mae? Never heard of her. Do you have anything else to say about Michael Clayton from 2007, directed by Tony Gilroy? Michael, air you out, Clayton.
Ooh, yeah, the scene where they take out Arthur.
Oh yeah, that's
crazy.
Fucking brutal. Yeah.
Between the toes. I liked him a lot. Like when we get up to there.
Oh sure, he's like the most valiant character in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he's funny.
Like, I mean, obviously misguided. Obviously, like something's
obviously sexually harassing this woman, but you know that aside.
Yeah.
Like,
which kind of sucks, but I mean, yeah.
But you support it. If we're being honest, you're like, well, I hate women.
I do hate women. Yeah.
You actually hate how much he likes her. That's his one flaw is just actually.
I hate how nice he is to her. Yeah. No. God. Fuck. What other point was it? Oh,
you were talking
between
about the
toes. Yeah, between the toes, so you can't see the injection. The way that they like incapacitate him when they like first
they like
tase
him
they,
or
like,
something,
wipe him down and everything.
Scary.
They give him something like an inhalant. They like force when they first like jabbed him in the throat, I thought they cut his throat. I thought they walked in and immediately cut his fucking throat. I was like, yo,
that'd
what
be crazy.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I was not prepared. Just
because
it seems like the way he drops and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me? You think I need to get my hair cut? A supercut? Or...
No, I need a supercut of you going, yo, what the fuck? Because you say that once every other episode.
I do. I like saying it. It's also, I mean, we watch movies where a lot of what the fuck things happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, and also him taking the, like, not deposition, but the info that he had gathered, that he had, like, collated, the, like, death book, and then calling it Realms of Conquest
Note.
and making 1,000
Yeah.
copies. So
3,000.
3,000. Making a bunch of copies.
The
making
kid's
new
like,
copies,
I only had enough red covers for the first 2,000, and
Oh,
the other
yeah.
1,000 are in
Yeah, yeah.
blue.
And he's like, I got boxes of these, man. Like, what do you want me to do with them? Like,
They're the Death Note, like you said, the Death
Yes,
book.
yeah.
It's the
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
super cool. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's awesome. It's great to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he drops like a 50 on the counter, and he's like, "Kid, keep these back there." And the kid's like, "This is the most money I've ever seen in my life." Of course, thanks,
Willikers,
man.
Thanks, mister. This is before the
That's the
housing
worst.
crisis, so it's a lot of money.
The worst actor in the movie. Yeah.
yeah.
But you know
Get
what?
that
Good
kid
for
off
this
the
kid.
screen.
Yeah.
She
Actually,
got a
we
voice
haven't
line
talked
at
about
least.
we haven't talked about any of the restaurant stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
Which again, it's just like that is obviously the less interesting part of the movie. It just kind of like serves to
I mean,
show
even the
why he
legal
can't just
part
walk away.
is like less interesting from, like,
Maybe, yeah.
yeah. At least
But,
the bar gives him a reason to like feel conflicted, right? Like,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
why he
like
can't
the
just
money
walk
problems,
away.
the bar, yada yada.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a kid.
And it puts this. He's got a kid, and he's got this like fuck up brother who like stole the money from him. So he feels this sense of duty about like, I need to write this. I need to do like dig myself out of this hole. Like,
but it's
all
also
good.
like he's digging himself a hole, like, morally, to dig himself out of this financial
Yes.
hole, right? And then it's like, all right, well, like, how
Totally.
much of this can I live with myself? Like, yeah, I am doing a good deed, a moral thing, right? But like, that is not the high ground, right? Like, the actions that I'm taking are not those of the high ground, right?
Which is why the scene where at the end, when he's like, he's like, I'm not the guy you kill, I'm the guy you pay off, is so
Yeah, it's so good.
Because you're like, no, Michael, don't.
Yeah. And he's like, I sold out Arthur for 80,000. I was like,
yeah.
Don't say it like that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, he seems like he's Mike's like only real friend, right? Like someone who likes him for like who he is. Like, it's like, fuck, man. I mean, even the bar, like, it seems like he was pressured into like buying essentially for the firm, right? So that they have somewhere. And it's like, all right, like, fuck, man, this sucks.
Well, no, he did it with his brother so he could get out. So he'd have a backup plan.
I know he did say it was so he could get out, but like the guys at the firm all like know about it and they like go there, so it's like, I don't know. They
don't go to because the bar's closed down. They're the restaurant.
Okay.
They're just at like a different bar. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Never
One
mind
of them
then,
makes a joke about like, because when he goes to Sidney Pollack and he's like, I need 80 grand. He's like, oh, are you at the tables again? Like, not again. I thought you were done with this shit. So that he's like got a gambling problem, I think is the idea.
Yeah. They know that.
But still, yeah. But he's still in deep. But then he takes the
Everything
high
on
ground
lease.
at the end, and yeah.
It's good stuff.
Jinx. It's a great movie. This is the best movie ever made.
It is. I owe you a orange flavored soda.
You do.
An orange Coca-Cola.
Wait, those were so good. That was what
I haven't
we were
tried
supposed
that
to
yet.
talk
That
about.
does sound good.
It was really good. I was like, oh, this is tea. Like, this is really like I was expecting nasty.
Actually, it's Coca-Cola.
Do you have anything else to say about Michael
Actually, it's
Clayton?
pop.
Do you have any... I'm gonna kill you.
No, I don't have anything else to say.
Do you have a Rick's pick?
Not lined up. Give me like a minute or two.
Motherfucker, I'm timing you.
Okay, I will take that.
Shout out Toronto Tim, who scared the shit out of me when I went on to Letterboxd last night to see if this movie was streaming anywhere, and I saw that he had logged Michael Clayton, and I was like, yo, how'd you know we were gonna watch Michael Clayton, man? And then I realized that I have it on the list, the public-facing list on Letterboxd, that Michael Clayton is our next movie.
Okay.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah. That'd be sick if he had just gotten it out of like nowhere, though, right? Like,
yeah, if he was just like, I feel like watching Michael Clayton, the best movie ever made.
Can you unprivate the movie list for movies we're going to watch?
I've shared you if you look in our chat, you'll find I shared it in a link. You have to go through the link. It's the one from February 15th in the podcast chat.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Neither of those work.
Neither of those work? You're so
I'm sorry. I'm
Try
getting a
this
still
one.
from David Fincher's Fight Club, 1999. I'm getting a
Are
still
you
from
logged
David
in?
Fincher's Fight Club, 1999.
Are you logged in, bitch?
Oh, Oh,
You're
I'm not.
God, I hate you. God, you're.
Is that actually it? That's crazy.
Yes, that's it. Because I have it privated
Oh.
only to friends and only with.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. I can
Because I had a fucking weirdo who would watch all of the movies that we linked because I had the list
Yeah,
public.
my bad,
And I
my
was
bad.
like, shout out the
Okay.
fucking theater that I can't go to anymore.
No,
I'm so pissed
anti
off.
shout out, not a shout out,
Well,
bro.
no, I like the theater. It's just, they're doing like an Oscar thing tomorrow night, like an Oscar party, and I was like, oh, I would love to go to this. Too bad this fucking weirdo
But you
works
can't.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
That
could,
sucks.
but it wouldn't be fun.
I mean, it'd be awkward and weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Anyway, let's see if I cut that.
You think still listen? I don't think so. I mean,
I don't
wouldn't.
think she still listens, but that doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to be too messy. I bleep a lot on this
Okay.
show. I might as well bleep another. What's one more mess?
Ooh. Can we do
What?
Singing in the Rain?
Yeah, actually, that's a great one. I was thinking we should.
Singing in the rain.
I was thinking we should do a musical, a better musical, and yeah, this was one that I was like, we should watch this sometime. So yeah, let's do it.
Or maybe
Or do
a.
You want to do Moulin
I was
Rouge? Yeah,
Oh no! I was gonna say, or we could do a Gene Hackman film.
oh, that could be cool. Wait,
That could be
Fuck,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
man,
I mean, Royal
There's so many-
Tenenbaums is up there. It's an Anderson.
have you ever seen Unforgiven? No, I know. I've seen Royal Tenenbaums. That was my first Wes Anderson. and
Okay.
maybe one of my favorites.
Nice. Okay. Hell yeah.
Fuck. Okay, there's. Fuck.
I haven't seen
There are,
Unforgiven.
like-
Ooh, Clint Eastwood. Ah, I'm
That's
down
what
for
I was
that.
thinking. I was kind of thinking this week, I was like, I should watch that finally. Or, like, there's actually a couple movies from Gene Hackman that would be good. He's in The Firm, also, by the way, the movie I talked
Yeah,
about.
I mean, he's very prodigious. Do we want to do The Firm? He's in the package.
No, that's too
clause.
similar to this.
Hmm.
He isn't my package. She was hot back in the day. He's in a great movie. He's in a lot of great movies. Anyway,
Yeah.
there are two movies of his that I've never seen that I think would be good for this podcast. So I'd say either Unforgiven or The Birdcage. The Birdcage is a little more maybe we should save that for Pride Month, but
Okay.
but if you want to do Unforgiven, we've never really cracked into a Western. And I know that's a kind of a revisionist Western, kind of like Power of the Dog, but
I've also heard of The French Connection before, and I've heard that it's very
that's a
controversial.
I mean, it's about a really racist cop. It's about a super
Oh,
racist.
okay.
But it's a good
Huh.
movie. I don't know that there's I think that we wouldn't have much to talk about with it. I think it's a great movie,
Okay.
but it's more just kind of I don't want to say a fun hang, but it's kind of a dumb action movie. Not that it's dumb.
Okay, yeah.
It's just
But it is
There's
an
not a
action
lot
film.
under
It's
the
mainly
surface.
focused on that. Yeah. Not much.
it's
going
not
on.
action,
Okay.
but yeah, it's a great movie, but yeah,
Let's
Go
do
ahead.
Unforgiven. I think let's do Unforgiven.
would you be open to a
A double feature?
maybe? I'm
Maybe?
thinking okay.
Huh.
Have you ever seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? The old
No.
movie, the old Western?
No. Maybe I have. I did get
That's
a
the
full
one-
on a Western kick a while ago. Yes. Yeah.
Everyone's heard that.
Yeah.
We don't have to watch that. There's several movies of Clint Eastwood Westerns I think we could crack into. We could do A Fistful of Dollars.
I've seen a few of them.
Yeah.
So I've seen a few of them because one of my friends is super into Westerns too, but I don't remember a lot of them. I remember some of the really cool shootouts and the really dramatic scenes, but I don't remember a
Yeah.
lot of the plot or premise behind them. If we want to do one of them,
Interesting.
so I
I
am
think it would
definitely
be-
down for that. Yeah.
I think either A Fistful of Dollars or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Fistful of Dollars is the first one. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the best one, I guess people think. It would be fun to do both, one of his starring roles with Sergio Leone, and then do Unforgiven that he directed and starred in. I think that could be
Okay.
a fun through the years kind of deal. But if you would
Yeah,
rather stick to
yeah.
just one movie, we can.
No, I'm down for that. I like that.
Hell yeah.
So do we want to do Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or What was the other one you
really
mentioned? It was
thinking
good,
about
bad, the good, the bad, the
So
good,
there's
the bad, and the ugly,
3.
and
Yeah, because there's Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more, and then the
Fistful of
good, the bad, and the
Dollars.
ugly. Yeah, so it's like it's a trilogy, but I think it's pretty loosely a trilogy. It's just like these all star Clint Eastwood and as the same guy, as a badass.
Yeah. I have definitely seen Fistful of Dollars. I don't know if I've seen the third one. What is it? A few dollars more, you said?
No, the good, the bad, and the ugly is the third one.
Oh, what's the first one? Unforgiven?
No.
No.
Who's on first?
What's the first one?
The first one is A Fistful of Dollars. The second one is For a Few Dollars More. And then the third
For
one
a Few
is Good,
Dollars
the Bad,
More.
and the Ugly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, we can watch the good, bad, and the ugly. That's fine.
I feel like that's the one. That's like the one everyone knows.
If there's one that you would prefer, yeah, okay, then we can do that.
I would say either the first or the third one. I feel like the second one.
Not the second.
About. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like I think I've seen both the first and the third, but not the second because
if you want to watch all
not the one
three,
everyone cares about.
have at it. But
I might watch all 3, and I might bring my opinions on all 3. But okay, let's do the good, the bad, and the ugly then, and
this took us
Unforgiven.
10 minutes. Okay. Sweet.
Wow.
I'm not complaining. I'm laughing. Okay. Next week. Another title in another language. Do you want to give it a try since these are...
Oh, are they? Oh, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, because it's Italian.
Okay, so next week we want to watch Il Buono, Il Brutto, Il Cavito. Il Cattivo. My bad. Directed by Sergio Leone. And
1966.
Unforgiven, directed by Clint Eastwood. I forgot the years on those.
From 1992.
Il Buono, Il Brutto, Il Cattivo is 1966, and Unforgiven is 1992.
Okay. Unforgiven, the very first line, the guy's name is William Money. That's incredible. This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. All right.
Ben Bucks, you're telling me?
I'm so... What were you going to sing earlier? I forget. You started singing something.
No. You have to do it with your Nosferatu.
Do I have to? Should I do the opening monologue from Michael Clayton? Hang on. This is going to kill me. My larynx is going to jump out of my body. Like a prolapsed anus from doing this voice. Do you think anyone listens to this with their kids around?
Hopefully not.
If they do, they suck.
I've told my family about it, and I just hope that they don't listen to it with Elizabeth in the car or anything.
God, the fucking first lines are so long. There's so many. What's the line to give for this? Or do I do the whole monologue?
I don't know. Do whatever you want. What feels right, Lane?
What feels right is maybe ending with WAP.
Not again! No! If you do that, I would sing what I was going to sing earlier.
I don't cook. I don't clean. What if I read the lyrics to WAP?
Grab me buckets and the mop for this wet-ass boozy.
Who do you sound like? You sound like...
I don't know.
You sound like a voice we do. Not this voice.
Is it Dracula from Hotel
Pussy.
Transylvania?
Maybe.
Pussy.
Yeah, you kind of sound... I wonder if Chris is asleep. Wow. Yeah, you kind of do. You're doing like Count Chocula, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen Nosferatu, so in my mind he's just Count Chocula, bro.
There's some whores in this house.
They invited me in, which is the only way I could enter as a vampire.
Gobble me, swallow me.
Fahu fore, tahu dore.
There is no play here. There is no angle. There is no champagne room. I am not a miracle worker. my janitor. The math on this is simple. My milkshakes bring all the boys to the yard. And damn right, they're better than yours.
What am I doing? I'm talking to an empty telephone. 'Cause there is a dead man on the other end of this fucking line.
Ogres are like onions. They both have layers.
Just drive.
I remember pouring you a glass at a friend's house in San Francisco after another mutual friend's wedding in 17 apostrophe. I was decanting another. You didn't want to wait. Honey Badger drinks when he wants laughing emoji. I made the clutch move of ordering us pizza at 1 a.m.
Go, peace, girl.
Bloodborne. No, no, no. I said cock porn.
These are very bad.
Bloodborne.
You gotta get the R in the orn.
Bloodborne. Bloodborne. No, no, no. I said cock porn.
I said certified free, 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy, make that pull out game weak. Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring up